Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Reignited. A house fire that appeared to be out last night started burning again in the early morning hours. WRAL breaking news tracker was there to call fire crews back to that scene.
And a couple things you need to know. First, we're going to see another gorgeous day with low humidity, but by the middle of the week, it turns wet again, and I'm tracking 3 different systems in the tropics.
And a tragic boat crash. A 10-year-old girl killed, a woman seriously hurt. What we are learning about the suspected drunk boater accused of hitting them. Kelsey Coffey is live at that lake where that happened. Just a terrible story that we will get to for you on your Monday morning. Thanks for joining us here. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. Yeah, thanks for making us part of your Monday. Start of the work week here after a pretty glorious weekend.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Weather-wise, certainly. Yeah. A nice sunrise on the way as well with some cloud cover out there. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now with a look at the tropics, though.
Hey, we're getting into August now, and the end of the month is the peak of the season that moves into September as well. So we do have tropical storm Dexter that formed in the 11 o'clock advisory last night. It is moving away from the United States. This is a look at the path. The storm right now has 45-mile-per-hour winds. It's moving off to the northeast, and over the weekend, it will dissipate in the North Atlantic. We may end up with some rip current danger, maybe a little bit of overwash along Highway 12 and along the Outer Banks. Second system that we're watching is in the next 7 days, there's a 30% chance that one develops here a little bit closer to the coast. Whether it becomes tropical or not, it may still send a lot of moisture in toward the end of the week. And then this one off the coast of Africa, likely to just turn out into the Atlantic. So the next one that we're watching more closely is that one that possibly will develop closer to the coast. In Durham this morning, we're seeing a mix of sun and clouds, 63. Our dew point at 60 feels nice and comfortable, and it'll be a nice day today, too. A mix of sun and clouds with highs in the mid-80s. Coming up, we'll talk more about our transition to a wetter pattern. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, at 6:01, we're seeing some heavy congestion building in I-40 westbound between I-885 and Highway 55. And here's why. As we take a live look outside at I-40 and Highway 55, you see right here on the shoulder of the road, there's some incident happening there. But you can see, even though traffic is beginning to get congested in that area, once you get past Highway 55, it's clear sailing. I'll keep an eye on that and let you know exactly how that's going to continue to affect your morning commute. But really, elsewhere, all the major routes are delay-free at this hour. You're getting ready to head out the door. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
A house in Raleigh caught fire again this morning after a fire response late last night. The fire first broke out around 9:30 last night on Linwood Lane. That's near North Hills. WRAL's Ali Calabar was the first to notice that house had caught fire again. Ali, you called 911, and first responders say the house would have been a total loss had you not been there.
Yes, Michelle, and we do want to get to that story, but right now we are seeing what appears that fire crews, they are packing up right here, but we've been seeing every 15 minutes or so just crews using a thermal imaging camera, flashlights, just making sure that this fire is completely out before they pack up and head away. But getting back to that, this is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker from around 2 a.m. When we got here, the fire was spreading on the roof of the garage, so we called 911 immediately. Crews got here within less than 10 minutes. The battalion chief on the scene tells me the fire spread to the attic. It rekindled in the roof's overhang. He says this is not uncommon. No one was inside, but we do know that initial fire left 2 people and their pets without a home, and it also killed their dog as well. So we're still working to find out the cause of the initial fire, and they said they're going to have an update today. Reporting in Raleigh, Ali Calabar, WRAL News.
Today, the boater charged in a crash that killed a 10-year-old girl and critically hurt a woman may appear in court. This is video of first responders at a nearby boat ramp after that crash Saturday. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is at Harris Lake this morning. Kelsey, a lot of questions still about how this tragic crash happened.
Yes, Jeff, this morning we're working to find out what led up to this deadly boat crash here on Harris Lake. 10-year-old Brooklyn Carroll was killed and a woman was seriously hurt. Quentin Knight is facing charges for the little girl's death and boating under the influence. Knight is accused of crashing a boat, hitting the woman and child while they were swimming. We also learned that Knight has a pending hit and run charge from 2 years ago. We spoke with people who were out on the lake over the weekend. They shared their thoughts on the importance of boating safety.
That this has taught them a lesson that drinking while boating is still like drinking while driving. Anyone can be in the area, especially if you're boating and going really fast.
Just a tragic situation here, so we'll be sure to keep you updated on when Kite is expected to appear in court. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live at Harris Lake.
Loved ones of Jennifer Staley, the woman hurt in that crash, have set up a GoFundMe account to help. They say she faces several surgeries and ongoing treatments. So far, that GoFundMe has raised $11,000.
Today, State Auditor Dave Bolek will share the results of his investigation into the DMV. WRAL's Laura Levine is at the DMV on Avent Ferry Road this morning. And Laura, this could give us a better understanding of what could be leading to the backups, causing those long lines like the one we see behind you right now at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, Michelle, and some people we spoke with say that they've been actually lined up here since 2 o'clock this morning. And this isn't their first stop at the DMV. As you know, we're seeing this site, which is pretty familiar for some time now at DMV locations across the state. So today, State Auditor Dave Bolek will give an update on findings into what it will take to make this process smoother. In the preliminary findings of his office's audit back in June, he said the division has struggled with long wait times and difficulty booking appointments due in part to an overwhelmed workforce. Additional driver's license examiners are needed to meet demand and reduce wait times at the DMV offices across the state. He also said more flexibility is needed in current personnel rules to allow the DMV to hire and retain more staff effectively. So we know there's been so many changes to the DMV to try to make things smoother over the past few months, as well as that grace period with driver's license and making sure that you can now walk up in any of the locations instead of making an appointment. However, many customers here say that they're not seeing an immediate impact with that, still seeing long lines. So today we'll hear from the state auditor at 11 a.m. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
This morning, 500 new parking spaces are open at RDU. This is a live look at Terminal 2 there out at the airport. The new spaces are part of the airport's Park Economy 3 expansion, a $164 million project. The expanded lot features restrooms, vending machines, and EV chargers. And new covered walkways will hold solar panels that'll provide much of the power to run them. RDU is in the middle of a major building spree. It'll include a new runway, an expanded Terminal 2, and improvements to the main road that connects the terminals.
Time is 6:07 here in the WRAL Live Center. Good morning, I'm Chris Lovingood, where at midnight there were workers for Boeing that went on strike. And these specifically are workers who are at some of the locations that are in the St. Louis region of Missouri. Essentially, last week there was a contract that was presented to the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers Union, but they rejected it. Union members say that offer fell short because of the wages that were offered, paid time off and retirement benefits. But according to Boeing, it actually came with a roughly 40% wage increase and a 20% journal wage increase, as well as periodic raises, vacation, and sick leave. But you may be wondering, what does that mean for you? Well, in terms of who this would affect, it's mostly defensive contracts because these are the type of vessels that the aircraft that the employees are working on. But we'll be seeing how long this strike will actually last there in Missouri.
All right, thank you, Chris. Expect more traffic problems when it comes to the state fair. That state fair coming to Raleigh in about 2 months. The Blue Ridge Road underpass project that was set to be finished before the fair is delayed again. That's according to the DOT. And now families say getting to the fair may be more trouble than it's worth.
It's a little disappointing. I would love to come to the state fair with my kids and be able to enjoy it, but it doesn't make it super accessible for everybody and makes it a little more harder to get down here. Last year we parked at the Lenovo Center, got out of the car, walked a quarter of a mile, and we said, there's no way we're making it today.
Business owners in the area say the traffic is impacting their customers. Jeff Hastings of Burke Brothers Hardware says normal state fair traffic cuts his sales by about 20%. With construction in that area now, he says it's been more like 35%.
This afternoon, the future of a Fayetteville school will be determined by the State Board of Education. The Charter Schools Review Board chose not to renew the charter for Fayetteville's Agape Achievement Academy. Today, school leaders will appeal that decision with the board. We'll bring you their decision following today's meeting that starts at 4 p.m.
And today, people in Durham County have a chance to learn more about how federal cuts may affect them. The Durham County DSS and Public Health will give an update on local SNAP benefits and Medicaid programs at today's Board of Commissioners work session. They hope to focus on how federal policies will impact program funding for people in our community. That meeting starts at 9 a.m.
There's the potential for some traffic delays in Knightdale today. Crews will be closing lanes at several intersections this morning along Knightdale Boulevard. They'll be installing pedestrian crossing signals. The work starts at 10 a.m. at the intersections of Hinton Oaks Road, Great Falls Road, and First Avenue. It should take a few hours for that work.
All month long, we are helping area animals find forever homes during our Clear the Shelters adoption event. To celebrate, Orange County Animal Services is holding a Crazy 8s adoption event from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on August 8th. Adoption fees are $8. Give a furry friend a fresh start. To learn more about this and other local events, go to WRAL.com/shelters.
10 after 6 on our Monday, getting out of Texas. Democrats in the Lone Star State are facing punishment after they took off in protest. What they say they are standing up against.
And whooping cough cases. North Carolina seeing a rise in the infectious disease. How the symptoms could lead to bigger concerns this back-to-school season.
And it was such a lovely weekend, especially yesterday. Our dew point and hence our humidity stays nice and low again today. But I'll let you know when the moisture returns coming up.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:14. It's a pretty start out there this morning. This is a live look, of course, at downtown Raleigh. Mix of sun and clouds and comfortable temperatures. Look at that, it's 57 in Roxborough right now. 63 in Durham, 65 in Holly Springs, as well as Garner, and 63 in Cary. Our humidity stays nice and low today. Real comfortable out there. Right now it's sitting at 60, which puts us at tolerable, but almost in the comfy zone there. So feeling good for us today. You know, this time of year, it can be tough to have an enjoyable lunch hour outside. Today is going to be one of those days. Get out there and enjoy it before it gets hotter. As a matter of fact, even through the afternoon, you're good to go for exercise with temperatures in the mid-80s. We're about to move into a wetter pattern by midweek. I'll show you what that will look like coming up. Ken?
Elizabeth, we got some good news to report, particularly the I-40 westbound in Durham, part of your morning commute. That incident on the shoulder of the road between I-885 and Highway 55 completely cleared, so traffic is flowing nicely in all directions. If you're heading to Chapel Hill, all points west this morning, it's all delay-free. And similarly, all the major routes from Wendell to Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, all delay-free at this hour. Michelle, coming up in less than 5 minutes, we'll continue to check to see how your morning commute will be affected.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Ken. And people in Montana are being told to stay on high alert during a manhunt for a man accused of killing 4 people at a bar. Michael Brown is believed to be armed and extremely dangerous. Authorities are offering a $7,500 reward for information about where he is. Police say Brown was last seen on camera leaving the bar where that shooting happened on Friday.
New video from the United Nations shows the plight of Palestinians in Gaza. This video released yesterday shows thousands of people trying to get aid. A UN-backed food security agency warned last week the worst case scenario of famine is unfolding in that region. A shooting incident, a mass shooting incident near an aid site in northern Gaza yesterday killed 13 people and left dozens wounded.
Democratic lawmakers in Texas may face fines or even arrest after they left the state over the weekend. They say they left to break the quorum of a special session on new state elections maps. A Republican lawmaker in the state says the maps were drawn to help Republicans win more seats by shifting district lines. Democrats say their party could potentially lose 5 U.S. House seats. Governor Greg Abbott says he will punish lawmakers who do not return in time for the House to reconvene this afternoon.
A new warning about whooping cough cases. They are now on the rise as kids get ready to go back to school. More than 6 times as many whooping cough cases were reported last year compared to 2023. That's according to the Centers for Disease Control. Whooping cough is extremely contagious and has serious symptoms.
In very young children, as many as 2/3 will have periods where they stop breathing. About 20% of children who are young will get pneumonia.
Rise in cases comes as new data shows a record number of children did not receive their recommended vaccinations last school year.
Well, some sad news to share with you this morning. Actress Lonnie Anderson has died. She was 79 years old. Her publicist says she died at a hospital in Los Angeles after a prolonged illness. Anderson was married to fellow actor Burt Reynolds. She is most known for her role in the TV series WKRP in Cincinnati. Anderson also starred in the 1983 comedy Stroker Ace.
A wildfire burning in the canyons of Utah is expanding quickly. The Monroe Canyon fire has now scorched more than 57,000 acres with little containment. Fire crews are working around the clock. They say challenging terrain, persistent wind, and dry fuel have made this fire especially difficult to fight. The cause of the fire is under investigation.
Time now is 6:18. Turning to weather, meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center taking a look at our tropical update, Elizabeth.
Yes, of course, this time of year we tend to see the tropics become a little bit more active, and that's exactly what's happening, of course, as we're getting into August. We're looking at the potential for more storms to develop. The peak of the season happens late August into the early to middle part of September. So we have the potential for a system to develop pretty close to the coast of North Carolina. Whether or not it actually develops any tropical characteristics, it's likely to feed some tropical moisture in mid to late week. Also, another system that's sitting off the coast of Africa, likely to just stay out into the Atlantic. But we also have tropical storm Dexter, and that storm is here sitting off the coast of North Carolina, closer to Bermuda, and it is heading away from the United States. So it's not something that's going to be a big issue for us. Winds right now at 45 miles per hour. It just continues along a path to the northeast, up toward the North Atlantic, where it will likely dissipate over the weekend. So Dexter could bring us some rip current danger. It could also bring us maybe a little bit of overwash or erosion along the outer banks, but it doesn't look like anything major. Here's a look at our change in the pattern. We're going to see a wetter pattern developing because of a low, not a coastal low, but a low sitting over land that dips down into the southeast. Low pressure systems have winds that rotate counterclockwise, so that then begins to push some tropical moisture northward across our area. The rain chances become a bit higher Wednesday all the way through the weekend. This is a look at that big picture, and you can see that low dipping southward. Dexter moves away, but that system that has a 30% chance of developing, even if it doesn't develop, pushes more moisture into the southeast, and that low also helps to pull up that tropical moisture. So that's what's going to change our pattern for us. Thursday and Friday, it's a 60% chance of rain, but it goes up to about 40% on Wednesday. It's 40% over the weekend. Wednesday and Thursday, we have a low risk for flooding, so we are definitely going to see some downpours out of this changing weather pattern and some isolated flooding potential certainly there. How much rainfall might we see? Well, in some places it could average about 3/4 of an inch, but there will likely be pockets where it's heavier. Temperature-wise, we're just going to hold it in the low to mid 80s, so it's going to feel pretty comfortable. I'm looking at 87 on Sunday, so slight warm up. But Ken, it's awfully nice to keep those highs in the 80s after what happened in July.
Yeah, we had a nice pool day yesterday.
Yeah,
We'll hopefully have a couple more this week before the rain comes. Elizabeth, thanks. Hey, in Wake County, we don't have any incidents to report. It's been a rather comfortable start over in the east side of Raleigh as well. I-87, Nidale Boulevard, all free and clear. So let's stay to the east of Raleigh. As a look at I-87 and Smithfield Road, these are the southbound lanes coming into the capital city this morning, all delay free. You're getting ready to head out the door. Tune us in on the radio. We'll keep you covered. 101.5 HD3.
All right, thank you, Ken. Back to school on a budget. The right laptop can make or break a student's year. That's why just ahead, 5 on your sides, Keely Arthur shows you the best deals on technology for the classroom.
Plus, tasting a bat. A woman says a bat flew into her mouth while she was visiting a national park. The major medical bills she is now facing following that attack.
And ahead on today, some are calling this the summer of stingrays. Why stingray sightings are becoming more common and what beachgoers need to know.
And here's a look at your winning NC Education lottery numbers on your screen right now. We're back with what's trending next.
It's What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug and Home.
Well, we have this amazing sunrise for you, and we have what's trending. Canines catching waves.
Plus, a surprising crossover at Lollapalooza. Ken Smith here now with what's trending on a Monday, Ken.
Jeff and Michelle, let's start at Grant Park in Chicago. That's where Sabrina Carpenter brought out some special guests during her Lollapalooza set last night. Earth, Wind, and Fire joining her on stage for a groovy musical celebration. This dynamic pairing performed Earth, Wind, and Fire's classic hits like Let's Groove and September, one of my faves.
I think she could probably pair with anybody and make it work. I mean, Olivia Rodrigo came out and played with Weezer. There were some cool collabs. Hundreds of acts in that show.
Yeah, a little bit of fresh and a little bit of, the older generation together like that. Oh my gosh, incredible.
Love it. Hey, let's catch some waves. The 2025 World Dog Surfing Championship happening over the weekend. 20 pooches participated this year. Now, the judging is based on how long dogs remain on boards, how long they can hold their balance, and whether they perform any tricks while riding the waves.
And how cool they look with their goggles. How adorable is that? A Cacao is the overall champion surfer dog this year. So apparently he probably stayed up long enough on the surfboard and had his goggles on. Oh my gosh, that is so cute.
Yeah, you gotta keep the salt water out of the eyes.
Yeah, you do.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Ken. A woman visiting Arizona was hit with a steep medical bill after a bat flew into her mouth.
Erica Kahn is an avid national parks visitor. She went to Horseshoe Bend to take some pictures at night. That's when she says a bat flew into her mouth, got stuck between her mouth and her camera. Her natural reaction was to scream.
It was a freak accident. I'm not sure what part of the bat was there, but there was definitely I got a taste of it, which was pretty gross. And it tastes a little earthy, a little sweet, if you're wondering.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if we were wondering, but thank you. Khan says she spat the bat out and it just flew away. Another unwelcome surprise came later when she went to get a rabies shot. Look at this bill. She was uninsured after losing her job a couple months ago before that bat incident. She is saddled now with nearly $21,000 in medical bills.
If you're out and about today, you'll notice this morning it still feels very comfortable. Our dew point or humidity remains low today, but I'll show you when more tropical moisture rolls in coming up.
Long lines and wait times. WRAL has been following issues at the DMV for quite some time now. The new information we expect today that could give us a clearer idea of what is causing the delays.
Plus, a tragic boating crash. A 10-year-old girl was killed. A woman is in critical condition this morning. What we are learning about the suspected drunk boater accused of hitting them.